And of course, Everlasting Bass on the record is a phenomenal song. So what Memphis artists in particular have gravitated toward that, sampling it? 3 6 Mafia has done it a lot of different times, DJ Squeaky, a whole bunch of different people. But have you ever gone or understood why Memphis in particular loves that song so much?
I have no idea, man. It just did something to that city, I guess, because NLE Chopper just used it too.
Yeah.
And I really don't know, man. Just certain songs take off in certain regions. I guess it was the tempo of it. Back then everybody want to brag about their systems, their car systems, and put the 15s and the 12s in their car. And it's just a song that just blew up like crazy, and they had a dance to it too, I believe. So that always helps when there's a dance to your song, man. So I think that's why. But yeah, they the artists really go off on that one, man.
Absolutely. Okay, so then Me and Joe comes out. You guys are touring and doing a lot of great stuff. Why did you guys go from Egyptian Empire over to Atlantic for the next album, for the Hard Way?
I think that I thought Atlantic could bring us to the promised land when we was already in the promised land. I just didn't know it. Other artists were getting picked up by majors, and I looked at it like, if you are on a major label, your stuff's just gonna do good automatically because the machine is there. And it wasn't the truth. But also they was giving up advances. So I'm like, oh, we can sign over here, get better directors for videos. We'll get on MTV, because MTV would never play us Rap City. They would play us a little bit here and there. So I'm like, well, if we get with Atlantic, we'll get on MTV, we'll get Rap City, we'll get BET, we'll get all these platforms that they don't let the independents get on. And that's why I went with Atlantic, and that was a mistake.
So what ended up happening while you were there?
They didn't care about West Coast groups. They cared about NWA and Dre, but they didn't care about anything else. And we thought they did. They made it seem like they did, but didn't take long. Because I remember one time they called us and said, "You guys aren't like Queen Latifah and Kwame. They got the polka dots going on. You guys don't really have none." I'm like, oh, wow. That's when I knew we made a mistake, but we was already in then. And I had switched up with not using the 808 as the main drums for the sound. I was trying to advance on the sound, and I shouldn't have did that. I should have went back to what we was doing originally, and it wound up hurting us. We had a couple mediocre hits off of that, but nothing like the first album. Nothing like the impact of the first album.
Right. Now, when the beat comes in, that record, I always thought it was interesting how you beeped out your profanity on that one on your own, self-censored yourself, I guess.
Yeah. So that's me. Because that's me being a record guy and knowing that records with profanity aren't going to get played. So why do that? Why have a record with cussing when you can just make a clean record and get it played? And I was overthinking everything. And it's real easy to do, man, because you want your records on the radio and stuff like that. I wasn't looking at it just I was too business minded at that point. So the business hampered me from doing what I needed to do, because I was trying to satisfy everybody, and that's not going to happen.
And what effect do you think that, because at this point, as you're well aware, in LA, there was the gangster rap was starting to really explode. And then, of course, we had the Delicious Vinyl guys, and Can You Back It Up is also on the record which I wanted to talk about. But what impact do you think the kind of the two main things of gangster rap and delicious vinyl had on your guys' career as well, since you were making still on Three the Hard Way is still very party oriented, and that wasn't as prominent, I guess, on the West Coast artists anymore.
Party records don't get respected. People who talk shit in gangster rap was getting respect, and that bothered me. And I understood it. You could feel the other records more because it was talking more to the hood and to the people and stuff like that, instead of me worrying about the base that liked me for what we was doing. I started getting into, well, I want to be liked by these people. And that was the wrong way of looking at it also. Okay. So I got sucked in. I didn't get sucked in. I mean, I was always in the hood and around those type of people anyway, but they was getting the respect. They was looked up to more than somebody who was talking about shaking your ass at the party.
Gotcha. And then looking back at the Can You Back It Up, what do you remember about that whole situation, writing the song?
I was a mad kid, man. I was a mad kid, that's all. You know, I heard some interviews where people was talking some trash about us. We had got left out of the same gang project. And I was mad, man. I was talking shit. So, and you know, you do a lot of stupid things when you're young, man. And that's probably one of them, you know. Buying into all that and thinking I had to talk trash about people and stuff like that to get over. Even though I wasn't trying to get over, I was already over at that point, but I wanted a voice. And that wasn't the right way of going about it.
Did you ever find out why you were on the same gang?
No, not really. I never talked to Michael Concepcion about it. But I kind of have an idea. Just we was cracking at that time, but we was a party group. But at the same time, wasn't Tone Loc on that record and JJ Fad too? They was party records too. But I don't know, man. I always felt like we didn't get our proper due. But I understand why we didn't at some point too. Later on, not at that time. I didn't understand it. We was one of the hottest groups in LA for a while, you know what I mean? And to not get that look, because that look would have gave us the MTV and all that, because they was playing all that. But you know, I put it out my mind after that. But yeah, it kind of bothered me. It bothered me.
Okay. And then Hocus Pocus is also on Three the Hard Way, and that one has some harmonizing on there, which I thought was good, because I always got the sense, and I wanted you to speak on, it sounded like you had a lot of influence or inspired by Run-DMC a lot, and they have obviously harmonizing, as did a lot of earlier groups. But for the Hocus Pocus, what made you guys want to harmonize or at least layer the vocals on that?
Just trying to write a feel-good record. And just, you know, trying to be better as a vocalist and stuff like that, because people would always try and say, what are you trying to say, or this or that. Man, we was just making party records, man. I had no political agenda, no anything. Just wanted to make a record that was fun. That was it. And just trying to ride the beat, and, you know, and people always say, man, you sound like you could sing. You sound like you could sing. So I would, you know, use that to my advantage.
In 1990, you know, you guys had put out a couple records. Two Live Crew had put out a handful of records. Had you kept in a lot of touch with Brother Marquise and Mr. Mix, or what was your relationship with them at the time?
Once they had took off to Miami, I hadn't talked to them a lot. You got to remember, there wasn't, you know, cell phones and emails and all that stuff. So I would see them when I would see them out on the road here and there. but we didn't stay in touch a lot. We was partners. We loved to see each other when we did, but we did not really stay in touch like that.
Okay.
We would see each other out on the road, and I have to fly out. They would have to fly out, and so we didn't talk a lot. We really didn't talk a lot. We was all homies still, but you know, I'm in LA and they're in Miami. You know, we're never at home. You know what I'm saying? Home phone. So I call the home phone. They're not there. I'm not at home. So we'd pretty much see each other when we was out, had shows together. And that was about it. No emails, no cell phones. You know what I'm saying? So it was really hard. I went years without talking to them on the phone, but seeing them like maybe once every 6 or 7 months for years.
I mean, people forget how different it was back then as far as getting in touch with people. Because, you know, even I was doing a lot less traveling, but when I started traveling a lot, if you weren't home for like a week, you might not get that message for a week, you know?
Oh, man, yeah, it was not happening, man. I mean, like, it was, you know, on a whim, you would pick up the phone and it'd be Mr. Mix or Brother Marquise. It wasn't like, you know, it's just you see you when you see you. It's really crazy, man. The communication gap back then compared to now, it really. I mean, these kids, man, they can't even realize it. I mean, they've never lived without internet. They've never lived without cell phones being right there at their disposal. So, you know, see you when I see you.
Right. Okay. So then with Get Ready to Roll, you guys' third album, that's your third label also. So what made the decision to go with Nasty Mix?
They had, you know, tremendous success, you know, with Sir Mix-a-Lot. And Sir Mix-a-Lot was on MTV. He was on BET. Talking to him, talking to, I forget the guy's name who ran the label. Ed Locke, I think that was his name. Promised he could get us that. You know what I mean? And that's what I went with. Had the budget money. You know, paid us good to go over there. And that was it. All the labels that I went to and tried to do stuff with, it was always do they have radio? Do they have MTV? Can they get the videos done? That was always in my mind.
Okay. And on that album, it seemed like you guys really took more of a story raps or did more like topical stuff instead of just parties. So what made that shift with Get Ready to Roll?
Everything that was big was gangster rap or hardcore. Party stuff was whatever. Whoever came through with parties, it started not to mean as much. When really it did still, and I should have just stuck to that, but I wanted to showcase that we could do the other stuff too. And that's why I did that record. I mean, I like the beats on it. I don't like all the lyrics. I don't like all the concepts, but sonically and beats, yeah, we did our thing. And that's when Joe did a lot more of the production too. We was handling it a lot together, and that's why it sounds nothing like Three the Hard Way. It sounds nothing like me and Joe.
Well, be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national
gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
There's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.